Hi everyone, I'm glad you're here. Today is Thursday, September 14th, 2023, and I'm Mary with Mary Greeley News. Yeah, it looks a little foggy again there at Yellowstone. This is when cooler air passes over warmer land. They also say it's an indication of how many days of snow you're going to get. Well, they're probably going to get a lot of snow this winter for how many times I have seen fog there at Yellowstone. Lots of earthquakes still going on. USGS is only reporting one. Looks like the only one for today was down by the west entrance. They're saying it's a magnitude 0.4. 4.6 kilometers in depth. And then yesterday there was a magnitude 1.1. That was really shallow. 1.3 miles in depth. So today's earthquake, the 0.4 that they are saying it was, is west of the Old Faithful Station. Let's bring this out. Yeah, up over here, that is the area of the west entrance. Don't see it at the time that they're reporting. I do have this one at 1406. It is, in fact, a volcanic tremor. I come up with a magnitude 1.58, but it's probably a little bit stronger. Actually, probably, let's see, let's go back there. A magnitude 1.76. That's the closest I can find for anything they are reporting. But there's other ones, lots of them. You can see them all here. And let me go over here. What's this one here? Let's see, 2058. The closest and the only other one that they're reporting is a 1.1. That's at 2047. Up over here by Mammoth, Wyoming, it says. Here's location. Yeah, they're just outright lying about the magnitudes and probably even the location of these earthquakes. Let's see. We got Joseph Coat, Fern Lake, that's where those trees burned up, that died and fell on the ground, and then the heat coming up, turned them into charcoal. The best signature for this earthquake is probably the western boundary. Got a little bit of screaming just before this earthquake. And let's see, let's go about there. It comes in, let's bring this down, as a magnitude 1.78. So if that is it, one, they're off on the time and off on how big the earthquake was. It's actually two seismic signatures in one, it looks like. Yeah, and once again, it's a volcanic tremor. This is when the magma ascends, rises up into the system. Yeah. More recently, there was this one right here, which they are not reporting. It is marked in red for Holmes Hill. Over here on the left is the western boundary. This is Little West Thumb. That I call Little West Thumb. It's West Thumb. It doesn't really show up there. And this one here would be Maple Creek. So there's the seismic signature, and let's look at the spectrogram. I noticed this with the western boundary, which I've been watching. I believe they got dike intrusion occurring, a crack in the ground where the magma's trying to come up. So it looks like Maple Creek. We got the most heat, maybe the best of the three signatures. Let's make that one bigger. There's the seismic signature. It's got a long P wave on it. Let's look at the spectrogram. Let's see, right there. And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll make it smaller than where it should be. And that one comes in as a magnitude 2.00. Yeah. Another 2. So that one would have been at 7:32 a.m. today there at the park. We got another one, a little tiny one. at 1341. Let's make this smaller. Let's see, right there. Does it show up at the western boundary? Let me bring this up. No, it doesn't show at West Thumb, but we do have it here. Let me bring this up at the western boundary. This is Holmes Hill. Looks like the best signature is Maple Creek. So let's make this bigger. Make sure I got the times right. Okay, and we'll bring it down. This one too is not being reported. Volcanic tremors. Okay, 1340 universal. So that would have been at 7:40 a.m. there at the park. And let's go to the spectrogram. Let's see how big it was. Probably, I'll bring it down. A magnitude 1.45. Again, not being reported. I don't know what they do there. The ones at University of Utah, which are supposed to be monitoring these, or maybe they're in Menlo Park. I'd like to have a job where I don't do any work and get paid, or do work that's nothing but a bunch of lies, inaccuracy. Yeah, I would like to have that job. Earlier, you can see all the earthquakes marked in red. That means the computer picked it up. There was a whole series. 2011. It was also going on at West Thumb during the same time period. Let me bring this over. Oops. Yeah, let's go to the seismic signature. Yeah, slow moving tremors. Yeah, kind of like a creeping tremors as they call them. Let me close this. You can see here at West Thumb, yeah, the same thing was going on. Let me make this bigger. Yeah, it was screaming away, popping of the ground. Those of you that are new might not understand about popping. This is because the ground is getting so brittle. It doesn't have the flexibility to bend as the magma comes up. So the ground just breaks like glass. Yeah, there's all kinds of it through here. And this is the area, West Thumb, where they did a drill for earthquake swarm, a hydrothermal eruption with a tsunami, with a loss of life. They did that back in 2011. Yeah, this is the heat and the gases, toxic gases. Look at that. It's almost all the way up to the top. They don't have a camera there at West Thumb. I wish they did. They do have one at the main body of Yellowstone Lake, which would be up over here by the fishing bridge. From that camera you can see Frank's Island. But they did the scenario for West Thumb, meaning they figured that would be the greatest threat. And being the greatest threat, don't you think they would put a camera there to watch the lake? I mean, if you feel like there is a threat, you put up a security camera, right? I do. I have one outside that I can watch on my TV. But evidently they don't care, so they haven't done that. I suppose they feel they're far enough away that if there is another eruption, they're going to be okay. They'll have time to evacuate. They get money every year for the infrastructure to keep up the maintenance for the earthquake monitors and things like that. Much of the time, the live web camera don't even work. So what are they spending the money on, right? Any type of new research is done by independent universities, different scientists that go in there on their own, with their own money, to study what's going on, what could possibly happen there at Yellowstone. So Yellowstone doesn't spend any money. What do they spend it on? Down by Salt Lake City, there was reports of a green or blue fireball. And this caught my eye, only because of the earthquake there in Morocco. There was 6 reports here in Salt Lake City. Only because one of the reports, or a couple of the reports, said the color of the fireball was blue. Now, there's been several videos posted showing a blue flash close to the ground prior to the earthquake that they had in Morocco. That was probably earthquake lights, but this was an actual fireball. So, yeah, it wasn't earthquake lights. See, this one here is also blue. And then the next one, let's see, white and yellow. And then way down south, St. George, Utah, there was a report seeing the same one. Now they said it was dark green, but I thought that was interesting, being close to Yellowstone. Let me bring this out. Yeah, see, there's Salt Lake City, and up over here, that would be Yellowstone. Let me zoom in. Right there. The last time Steamboat Geyser went off was 16 days ago. It's been slowing down. It had been 77 days prior for that eruption, and then before that 33 days, and then 56 days, 41 days. Yeah, there was even back in September 18th, 89 days between eruptions. This here is the water flow from Tantalus Creek from that last eruption, and you can see how it spiked on August 25th, close to the evening it looks like. Now, a week ago on TikTok, someone posted a video of a deer that walked into one of the thermal areas, and he was saying, oh, they lied to us about how hot the waters are. Well, different poles have different temperatures, and I'm sure much of nature probably does realize that some of these pools are cooler, and they can, get some minerals, get a drink of water, things like that. Let me bring it down a little bit for you so you can see the deer behind him. But this was a week ago, I believe it was posted. Yeah, he's going, they lied to us about how hot these are. Well, people have died, jumping in, falling in, dissolved into these hot pools. He also posted a video of elk. Let me play this. They're close to one of the campsites. It's rutting season, so you do have to be very careful. Mating season. Yeah, so you have to be careful. These things can kill you. I'm not sure where this was filmed. It's kind of a cute little video here on TikTok by the same fella. So look at Black Dynamite. This is the neighbor's cat keeps getting out of the house. Every year they have a citizenship swearing in ceremony there at Yellowstone. And I guess they had one, let's see, back on the 12th it says. Here it says people from 25 countries who came here legally, they applied, were sworn in as U.S. citizens. 38 of them took the oath, and they come from Australia, Belarus, Cameroon, Canada, China, Colombia, Germany, Ghana, Honduras, India, Italy, Latvia, Mexico, Moldova, New Zealand, Peru, Philippines, Russia, South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, Turkey, Ukraine, United Kingdom, and Vietnam. The new citizens, it says, are residents of Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana communities surrounding the Yellowstone National Park. This here is a swearing-in ceremony from 2018 there at Yellowstone. And here we have another image from 2018. Just a little bit more news of what's going on there. Here in Montana, it says the average price of gasoline in the state is $4.20 a gallon. That was as of today, Thursday morning. That's higher than the national average of $3.85. Now here you can see the sign says $4 for regular and $4.45 for diesel. I heard gas prices are going up anywhere between $4.40 and 50 cents a gallon per week. I certainly hope everyone is keeping their gas tanks full, especially for those that are visiting the park. Look at the fog. It's currently 11:37 a.m. Central Daylight Time. That would be 10:37 a.m. there at the park. So going back to that earthquake swarm, the popping that was going on here at West Thumb, you can see it was also going on here at the western boundary. We had the slow-moving tremors going on at Holmes Hill, and this here would be Maple Creek. Yeah, it's probably going to eventually start its eruption there by the western boundary, Maple Creek. Here you can see we got a slight burst of screaming that was happening. Got another one there. Look at the heat that came up, the toxic gases. This is the screaming. A lot of you probably don't know that are new about screaming of volcanoes. They discovered this back in 2009, where the volcano up there in Alaska, Redoubt, sent out screams, and you can listen to it here. I'll give you a link to it. It's down below in the more information box. Yeah, but what you have to listen for is long duration of screaming. At least I hope. Researchers say right before the eruption, the volcano experienced a series of small earthquakes. We've been having that for at least a year, maybe. Not quite a year there at Yellowstone. So many earthquakes that they created what researchers are calling a scream. It says 20 explosive series that Redoubt had in 2009. There was these strange harmonic signals that the scientists at Alaska Volcano Observatory dubbed the screaming because of the harmonic tremors. Other volcanoes usually only get up to 3, maybe 5 hertz at most in pitch, and these screams got up to 25 or even 30 hertz, which is even audible to the human ear. Normally people can't hear them. So this point of screaming was only about 10 hertz. Let me bring it over so you can see it over here on the left. Here we have 2 episodes almost side by side where the screaming occurred. Often what happens is it gets so loud that the equipment that they have can't pick it up, so you get these blank spots. So this went on off and on for several hours. This is at 2:20 p.m. yesterday. Let me close this out, and you can see, okay, we got 1, 2, maybe 2.5 hours of these events. We got some more right there. And this is what it was showing when I pulled the files this morning. Yeah, you can see the line of melt. That's melted rock. Not all rock melts at the same temperature. There are areas there at Yellowstone where they have pockets, holes, I guess you could describe it like holes in a sponge, where it's only about 600 feet under the ground where people are walking. Let's see, this is that one I already did, and yeah, look at that. You can see how the magma, it's called magma when it's still under the ground, how it's trying to come up. And we got another one there, and then we got a long tremor. Let me bring this over. You can see the little blip over here on the left. Another blip over here on the right. Yeah. Slow moving tremor. Here at Holmes Hill, you can see it was going on there too. A little bit deeper. Now, those that have been following know that the magma that's coming up from the plume, which is about 250 miles across, coming up from the Gulf of California, it comes up and then it spreads out horizontally. It can no longer rise up because of that rye-like cap, so it's spreading horizontally. Here, I'll make this larger for you. See how it's going towards the west and circulating back down and then coming back up? Well, looks like it's clearing up a little bit. So that's all I have for you right now. Any thoughts or comments or questions? Please put it down below. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, you can see all the dead trees. I've talked about that. You know, always be prepared for a disaster. This here is the Mallard Lake Resurgent Dome. Yep, you definitely can't depend on the government to come to your rescue. They're now saying to have 2 weeks of food and water and medical supplies and all that, not just the 3 days. The 3 days should be only for your bug out kits. But you should have in your home, your apartment, wherever, 2 weeks now of supplies to get you through any type of disaster. What are your thoughts? Yeah, put your comments down below. Thank you again for watching. Thank you very much for your support. Please stay safe, and I will talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.